Hi guys. So I'm going to try to give you a brief explanation about the simple past. What is the simple past? The simple past is actions that we did in the past. 5 minutes ago, yesterday, 10 years ago. So when you're writing in English, when you talk about something that you did in the past, what you do is you put the verb in the past tense. Okay? In English, there are two types of verbs: regular verbs and irregular verbs. We are going to talk about these two types of verbs. Let me give you some examples. For example, let's talk about the present. Today, I live in the United States. Okay? I live in the United States. This live here is the action. This verb shows me that I'm talking about the present. But before, I lived in Cape Verde. Okay? This shows something that happens in the past. This is the way I can show this is because the verb goes to the past tense. All right? So this showed something that we talk about the past. There are two types of verb: regular verbs, and irregular verbs. Okay? What are regular verbs? Regular verbs are verbs that when I put them in the past, I add ed to the verb. For example, the verb listen, look, listen, look, talk. Okay, these are examples of few regular verbs. And these verbs, when I want to write about the past in these verbs, I add ed to these verbs. Listened, looked, and talked. Okay? So this is why it's called regular, because the only thing I have to do is put ed in front of it and it shows me that the verb goes to the past. I listened to the teacher today. I listened to the teacher yesterday. I look at the board today. I looked at the board yesterday. I talk to my classmates today. I talked to my classmates yesterday. And irregular verbs are verbs when they go to the past, they change structure. For example, the verb ride, like riding a horse, write, like writing, the verb read, and the verb speak. Okay? These verbs, when I put them in the past, they become different. For example, the past of ride is rode. The past of ride is wrote. The past of read is read. Read, I'm sorry. The past of speak is spoke. Okay? So these verbs here on this side, when they go to the past, we don't add ed. Okay? They change. But the question is, when do you know that the verb is regular or irregular? So this is something that I cannot teach you. You have to go as you go in the learning process. you learn to differentiate the regular verbs from irregular verbs. I will give you a list with 50 irregular verbs. If these verbs that we are using is not in that list, it's probably a regular verb. Okay? So this is for affirmative of regular and irregular verbs. Okay? But we are going to study regular verbs first, and then we will use irregular verbs. Okay? So let's talk about regular verbs in affirmative, interrogative, and negative. Okay? Affirmative, a sentence. Interrogative, for questions. And negative, when you want to say something negative. For example, in affirmative, I drink water. Okay? I'm sorry. I drank water. This is the past of verb to drink. I drank water. Okay? So this shows me that the sentence is affirmative in the past. When I want to do interrogative, is the same process as when we do the interrogative in the present tense. The only thing is, like in the present tense we use verb to do. In the past tense, the verb to do becomes did, which is the past of verb to do. For example, interrogation is, did you drink water? Okay, that's interrogation. Did you drink water? Okay, only the auxiliary verb did goes to the past. The main verb stays normal. Do you understand? That's the interrogation. And for negative, I did not drink beer. Okay? The negative again, the auxiliary verb in the sentence that is attached to not goes to the past. The main verb stays normal. I drank water. Did you drink water? I did not drink beer. Okay? So I'm going to send you some videos. And on these videos, you're going to watch how to do verbs in the past tense. Okay? If you have any questions, just call me. All right, guys.